Every single tech graduate dreams of working in big tech giants like Google, Microsoft, Netflix, Facebook, etc. But in today's time, there's a twist in the story because these companies are no longer recognized as dream companies. Not by me, but with the kind of work culture they are providing, with the kind of work they are providing, with the kind of job security they are providing. Let's discuss in this video what went wrong and why these companies are no longer a dream company or no longer provide dream jobs so that you can take more informed decision. With that, let's get started. Before we jump onto the points, I want to quickly mention that you can find links to my products, my HR courses, and to my text consultations in the description box or in the comment section. Please use only those links. Do not book consultations using any random links that you see posted by other people in the comments. Okay, so let's begin with the very infamous drama that's going on, which is a 70 to 90 hours of work week. Well, Mr. Murthy's statement of 70 hours per week wasn't enough. That now the chairman of L&T, Mr. Subramanian, has also come up with his advice of working 90 hours per week. See guys, that's the dark reality of most of the jobs in corporate today, be it any industry. Though the views I'm sharing in today's video are majorly about IT software industry because that's where I have worked the most, but I'm sure there is similar situation in every other industry. So if you are in a client-facing role, doesn't matter which company, then forget about 8-9 hours, working 8-9 hours, work-life balance. You will be at the mercy of client. If they want to take a break, if they do not want to work for a week, that would be the time that you will be given leverage to take leaves or will have shorter working hours. If they have a lot of work, you will be on the go, and your manager will continuously put pressure on you that you will have to prove yourself to the client or we cannot negotiate with the client. And if there is some work, some task that is taking much longer than expected, you will be expected to finish that work and then go home. And that is how things work in most of the client-facing roles. And more people are waking up to this reality, and no, it is not okay to work after a certain duration because honestly, human brain can only take so much in a day. And if there is a task which is stretching and which needs to be completed, then there should be enough resources on the team. There should be enough employees in the team that if one leaves, the next can take over after their working hours are done, like 8-9 hours. But that doesn't happen. On the name of cost cutting, these companies are deploying bare minimum number of employees on any given projects because that would earn them maximum margins because the client is going to pay a fixed price. So that's the ugly truth, and that's the dark side. Point number 2 is increasing health issues. Now it's no longer a secret why people at high-paying jobs end up taking their own lives, why, regardless of the fact that they are working in big names, big brands, earning great packages. The reality is those names, those packages do not give you great health or do not guarantee a great health. In fact, bigger the name of the brand, bigger the name of your job title, bigger the pressure you have to prove yourself. And in that race of proving yourself, you end up in a situation where you work so much that your body nearly gives up. I mean, you must have come across this report somewhere that sitting is now new smoking. The number of hours any individual sit in a 9 to 5 job, which is barely 9 to 5, but it's more than 10-11 hours on any given day. The amount of sitting that we are doing, it's equally, or I should say even more dangerous than smoking 3-4 cigarettes a day. So you can imagine yourself the kind of negative impact these jobs are putting on your health or anybody's health is irreversible, and more people are waking up to this reality. And that is happening because of poor work culture, poor work-life balance. Like Mr. Subramanian said, that what you are going to do sitting at home, rather come to office and work. That's not how things work. Now, the next point to note is that these companies are going a step further to inflate their profit margins. And that is that rather than hiring people on their own payroll, these companies hire employees to work on their projects via a third party, via some agency, some manpower company agency, which pay them really less, but they work on the same projects as those of permanent employees. And not only that, you might think that it's okay, they are getting exposure. Yes, they are getting exposure, but they are working even longer hours than those permanent employees. They are paid 10 times lesser money for the same work. Plus, the weirdest part is these big companies have very big premises, campuses, where they reserve an entire separate building unit only for the contract employees, so that employees on contract do not sit with permanent employees. They have a separate building, they go there, they work from there. They never get the true benefit of working for that particular brand. Though their CV, their LinkedIn, everything will say that the person is working in so and so company, but in reality, they are treated very differently, and it's awful. And if you're thinking that the brand must be converting these contract employees into permanent ones, that doesn't happen for everyone. In fact, you'll be surprised to know that if there is an open position for any role, the company would hire from the job market, I mean from the outside, rather than considering their own contract employees. I don't know the mindset behind it, but companies do that. So the real face of these companies is turning more and more ugly with passage of time. What these companies were offering before, like 10-15 years, in terms of benefits, stability, job security, that doesn't exist anymore. And the treatment these employees get is not worth it, is not worth calling them dream companies or dream job providers. And the next point, which every single one of us can relate, is massive layoffs. I mean, these companies are laying off people in thousands every single year. The reason they tell could be different. Sometimes they'll say it's AI and the technology is changing, that's why we no longer need the people, or the overall profits of the companies are not good enough, that's why we are doing cost cutting. All sort of reasons are told, but nobody knows the reality. I know, I mean, as a HR, I can tell you that so many times companies use the reason AI to hide the real political reasons of the company to lay off. They really does that. It's not always the AI as you hear. It's not. And that puts a question on the credibility of these companies, and that puts a question on how stable is your job or how much you can count on your job. And if you think that you're really skilled to be laid off or to be fired, you're mistaking, my friend. Nobody is immune to layoffs. I have personally seen where people who are talented, skilled, who were valued so much, they were asked to train other people, other employees on something, and once those people were trained, these skilled people were fired, laid off. And honestly, now companies do not care about their brand image when they are laying off. Earlier, 10, 12 years back, it was a taboo, it was a big thing. It would hit the reputation of the company negatively if they are laying off their employees. Now it's like every other company is doing it, so it's fine. They do not even think twice before they decide to lay off. Now, the next one is a very contradictory point, but I still want to share it, which is even if you get in a job in a big company and you get a great package, that kind of spoils your career growth a lot of times. That happens in two ways. Number one, if you get laid off, you almost become unemployable. Why? Because other companies in the market will not pay you that much or will not pay you hike on whatever you are getting, considering the market is bad. But because you were working in that big brand on big job titles, so your ego is so inflated that you will not be able to accept anything lower than that. Even if the job role is good, even if the company is doing some great projects, you will not be able to take it. Why? Because now you have associated your ego with that salary, with that brand name, with that job title. This was one. Another thing that these big fat salaries do is that once anybody starts their career and they reach any considerable amount of money, as in salary, the person ends up taking home loan or some other kind of loan, and the vicious cycle of EMIs kicks in. And then what happens? Then that cycle continues, and the slavery also continues for, I think, lifetime, or until the person hits a realization that it's not good for his or her career. Why? Because those EMIs will make sure that you stay quiet when your manager is scolding you in front of 100 people, when your team lead is a toxic person. You will be quiet. Why? Because you have to pay big EMIs. You cannot afford to lose that job. You have designed your lifestyle according to that big fat pay. Now you cannot degrade your lifestyle. I mean, that will again give a hit to your ego, or maybe you are too ashamed, or you'll feel embarrassed if others see you downgrading your lifestyle. And then no matter what, whether you're liking it or not, you'll have to continue that job. Then in turn put pressure on your health, your emotional well-being, and then you never know how your body reacts to all that stress. Now, similar to this, the next point is that jobs at these companies really blindside you from all the other opportunities that are floating in your zone. Because as I said, people start taking pride in those brand names, and then it hit them back because now they are not able to do anything else. They are just the employee of that big company, getting a big salary and nothing else in life. They do not have time, and they also do not have an eye for the opportunities that are floating in the market for them to explore. By opportunities, I do not mean another job. By opportunity, I mean doing something else other than being an employee of any company. It can be starting something of your own, investing, or pursuing some hobby, or pursuing a career path which is totally different from what you have been doing but is in alignment with your interest that you always had since beginning. Our next point is there's absolutely no one to look up to. You tell me, you look around in your company, look at anybody, any senior person than you in any role or any department. Just look around and you let me know, do you feel inspired by anyone? Do you look at somebody and you go like, I want to become like that person someday? Is there a single person for whom you feel like this in your company? I am 100% sure that you do not feel this way for any single employee. Why? Because if you look in your manager level, you'll find people who are ready to give you 100 more tasks without even considering the fact how you're feeling, how much you are worked up since last week. They do not care about all of that. They are also a part of the cycle only. Their manager is ready to give them 100 other tasks. So, and if you look at the leadership, then you have people like Mr. Murthy or people like Mr. Subramanian who are expecting you to work 90 hours per week because they feel there's nothing else worthwhile to do apart from coming to office and doing those tasks. So honestly, in today's time, the career path in corporates is getting more and more foggy, where you do not have much visibility what will happen to you in next 3 years, 4 years, 5 years. And the billion dollar question, do you even want to continue working the same job in 5 years, 10 years down the line? And the final point I want to make about beginners, freshers who get placed in these companies, especially services company, the kind of salary package that they get is same as that one used to get before 15, 20 years. Today, a graduate who is getting placed in an MNC cannot afford one room flat with their salary. That's the reality. They are paid, I would say, bare minimum wages. There's no respect to the kind of education they are coming from, to the kind of skill they are bringing to the table. So let's ask ourselves, why do we even dream about being an employee in any company? I mean, how a job, any job, can be a dream job. I mean, you cannot dream about being an employee of somebody, being a staff of someone, no matter who that person is. I mean, slavery is a slavery, no matter for whom you are doing it. So stop calling companies your dream companies and jobs your dream jobs, because there isn't any. So now you'll say, what's the answer? What should we do? What's the right approach? The answer is that we have to start looking at our jobs in a very different way, and we have to make sure that we get maximum out of our jobs in terms of money, in terms of career growth, in terms of learning. And how we do that, I have explained all of that in this video. So make sure once you finish this one, you go and watch this video. It will change your life, and you will start looking at your career very differently, and you will be able to achieve your financial freedom in a really planned way. So that was it, guys. You let me know your opinions and do share your stories in the comment section. I love to read all your comments. And with that, I'm signing off. You keep on watching more content on Corporate Diaries, and I will see you in next one. Till then, stay safe and healthy. Take care. Bye.